After a break over the summer months, the Commoner Crawl series is now back in action in Portland. So this last weekend, PDX players dusted off their Commoner decks and came out to play, beers in hand. Today I'm covering the top 4 decks from last weekend's Commoner Crawl event. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Commoner fans! We know you're passionate about your format, and it's time to show it. Flesh and Blood Commoner videos historically underperform, not just in views, but in engagement. Show your content creators that Commoner matters, both by liking and leaving a comment on this and other Commoner videos to encourage engagement. See you on the tables, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks, welcome back to Dice Commando, and go again, a fabulous cast. Thanks for checking in. Once again today, covering, that's right, another Commoner video. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Sean Cowan, aka Beer Cow, for doing all the heavy lifting on this event. So this event series is a collaboration between Fab Foundry, Sean, who does most of the frontline work, and then myself as well. But I'm out of town. Travis was there, which meant Sean was flying solo. So nicely done, sir, for handling that and bringing it down. Today, what I want to do is I want to go over the top 4 deck lists from the event. So we had a Katsu and a Phi and a Prism and a Bravo in the top 4. Now, one of the coolest things about the Commoner format is it's very dependent upon, it can be very dependent upon who shows up, right? So the Prism obviously chewed its way through the tournament until it ran into Bravo. Good matchups, very bad matchups, right? And that's kind of what we expect Prism to do. Bravo, as you all know, that's my main in Commoner. It's what I think is very good. Phi, though, is probably the one that most people would agree as well. You know, at least at the top of the meta. I think he wins most of like the larger Commoner events. So it's really fun to see how this all plays out. So in the top 4, like I mentioned, we had Katsu and Phi, and then Prism went to the finals where it lost to the Bravo. All right, so congratulations to all players and well done, folks. What we're going to be doing first is we're going to be starting with Cameron Summers' Katsu deck. And this is kind of a mixed kitties deck. So you can see it over here. Now, obviously, the links for all of these are below. You've probably already clicked on them at this point, which is completely fair. But I wanted to just take a look at the decks and kind of talk about them a bit. Remember, Commoner format, you have to make some substandard choices, but I really like that because that means folks have to get creative. One of the things you see here that Cameron's running is Wounding Blow, right? You don't have Flick Flack and stuff, so combo is not going to work for you. So he went with just blue zeros that block for 3. That's also an attack. Seems pretty good, right? Soulbead Strike is a very, very popular one for that. That's in this deck as well, both red and blue. But again, running the Wounding Blow, I think is a really good include. You do see Rising Knee there for kind of the same type of thing. It's only a 1 attack, but it does have the 3 block, 0-3. Going into some other cool things here, we see 1-2 punch. I really like the include. So there's 2 blue 1-2 punches, and then there's 1 yellow 1-2 punch. I really like that with Head Jab. He's also running 1 copy of Open the Center, kind of with the combo thing there. You also see he is running the Surging Strike line into Descendant Gust Wave because the value there is really, really strong. And then something that should surprise no one is Red Bittering Thorns has made its way into the Commoner format. Shocker, absolutely expected to be there. And of course, good old leg tap, right? Red leg tap. Starting your 1-4 with Go Again. And then the Rising Knee Thrust, that's where those fit in. Again, those blue Rising Knee Thrusts actually work pretty well if that's all that you have in your hand. That into Rising Knee. You can Arsenal Rising Knee if you need to. It's actually a pretty good little combo. All right, so this is just a kind of a good stuff overall deck. You do see he is running a bit of the kitties stuff, right? So what he can do, or what Cameron told us he likes to do, is with Be Like Water, he can actually name kitties, right? Name Crouching Tiger, and then it turns on Pouncing She and She Unleashed. So cool stuff there. So thanks, Cameron, and congratulations on your top 4 finish. Right, moving on to DC team member Anthony Galleran. So he's been running a version of Phi for a while, right, way back in the spring. I know he took down at least 1 and maybe 2 of them with this deck. It's a very, very good deck. So what he's running is, what's unique about his deck that you can see there's a lot of what I call the fire starters, right? So he is running like Dust Runner Outlaw and you see Cinder Claw, or maybe it's Cinder Scan, I forget which of the two it is, but it's the Devotion. Both of them are 1/4s. You have Soaring Strike in there, which is a 1/4 with Goes to kind of start that chain. Now you do see he is running both the Kodachis and the Searing Emberblade, which is a great call in this format because it gives you flexibility, right? If you run up against a Dromai, all she has are Ash Wings, but she can drop a bunch of Ash Wings really, really quickly if she lines up her rakes. So being able to go stabby stab on that is really nice. You also see he's running the brand new Mask of Three Tails, which is basically your one-time Mask of Momentum, and it's actually a little better than that because it just looks at hits, not consecutive hits, but you only get it one time. The rest of that, he's basically running good stuff. You see what you would expect. You see Salt in the Wound, you see Scar for a Scar, you see your Soul Beads in there, then you see a bunch of your Draconic stuff. Do note he is running Breaking Point. That's the Arsenal one, but he's not running the one that does the 2 damage. So, and that may have been a change that he made because he also is running Bittering Thorns Red, which makes sense, right? So back to my point about the fire starters, the 1/4s. If you look at that, he's running 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 1/4 fire starters. Because you know what? It's good in this format, and people don't have as much armor. Being able to go into Blaze Headlong, do something else, and then Lava Burst, pretty darn good, right? Because remember, your Ruptures don't count Draconics, they count just totals, and yeah, good. So congratulations. Oh, and of course, I'm missing the whole point of the deck, which is the Stubby's turn, right? Going off on a Stubby's turn to put your opponent on a back foot, and then being able to continue to just whittle them down. And hey, that Phoenix Flame pulling it back, that can do a thing. Can absolutely do a thing. So good job, Anthony. Thank you for sharing your deck with us as well. All right, moving in now to Jude Cornett's deck. So this was the second place deck overall. One thing you will notice from the picture is he was running Fyendal's Fighting Spirit, which is a rare. So I have corrected that in the deck list to be Raging Onslaught, which is the common that would have been run in that slot instead, right? It's a logical 1-to-1 move there, right? So what you see here is just pretty much a good stuff Prism, and you can see why it went down to the Bravo once it runs up into somebody with the poppers, right? He does have Blinding Beam, 2 of the blues, but that's not going to be enough to be able to stick what you need because you don't have, remember, you don't have Luminaris here, right? So running Iris of Reality, enough blues to make that happen and effective if needed. Generally, though, if you're going to try and do that, you want to run like the Wave gloves instead of the Symbiosis gloves, or excuse me, the Dreamweaver's gloves. So this is very clearly just trying to land. You do see that there's no Pummel in here, but you do see Zealous Belting, which is another kind of common include, pun intended, I suppose, with this type of deck, right? So very, very, very good stuff here. Also, I do have the sideboard marked out as well. You see good, again, it's just good stuff. You see rainbows of the vast majority of the Heralds, but the sideboard over there with Chimera and then Blue Ravages as well as Fate Foreseen, right? And I do like the include of Brothers in Arms on this for yellow, because remember, most of yours, even though you don't have Luminaris and yellow doesn't matter as much, right, to that point, it still pitches, it defends and it pitches, right? So you could run the blue, though, to be fair in that case, but it does give you what you need there. All right. Now, bringing up the Bravo list, you'll see a lot of brand new stuff in this, coming from a good amount of it coming from well, actually all of the new stuff is coming from the new Professor kit. All right, we're seeing Earthlore Empowerment, both red and yellow in this deck have definitely moved in. Seems logical. You do see he's running the Steelblade Buckler and the Titan's Fist. He's not running Anathos in here at all. And then Civic Steps have made their way into the deck, and there's no other leg piece, so that is the primary leg piece. So that's 9, which gives 2 slots for the sideboarding. Okay. So looking at this, you do see, again, it's pretty much just a basic Bravo list. You see 1 copy of Oasis Respite, which is nice for the sideboard. I think that's a good call. Otherwise, you see kind of the stuff you would expect, which is Unmovables, Debilitates, and all that for your blues. One include that's interesting in here is Stonewall Confidence is there. I actually don't hate that for matches where you think you're going to get dominated, right? Because it lets you defend for a little more. I really kind of like that idea. Again, it's 2-drop with Go Again, and then you get better defense, and it lasts for a turn. That's kind of neat, right? Defends well itself. Then we also see Thumps in here, right? Thump with either Goliath Gauntlet, right? Because you can get the pump on that. That works really well. Or with Pummel, right? And you do keep in mind, it doesn't get it, like, it doesn't, the Thump thing doesn't technically help you when you're pummeling it. I mean, I guess if they were going to like double D-react, it would, or something like that, right? Or if they'd already defended, then they can't D-react. Sure. But they could actually, no, it wouldn't, because they could react before your pummel resolves. So actually, it doesn't help you in that case. But it does still have the on-hit, which is very good. But again, you get that 1-pop Goliath Gauntlet on Thump. It's dirty. It's real dirty. Real dirty. So again, congratulations on taking down the tournament with this deck. This is Eric's deck, so congratulations, Eric. Thanks for sharing it with us. I would be curious to hear how you felt the Civic Steps performed. That's something that I don't think is very good, but hey, it's 3-block, and running up against another Bravo or something where they're not going to be able to use advantage of it makes total sense. So again, congratulations, and thanks for sharing your deck with us. So anyway, that'll cap off the tournament. We do not yet have the date finalized for the next Commoner Crawl, but will be coming next month. That's how we roll, right? Try to do one every month during the winter months. Have a good time. So if you're in the area, you should absolutely try it, or try and get something similar going in your area. But either way, folks, I'll wrap it up today. Enjoy the lists. Congratulations again to all the players. Go Commando.